Burnout. It is something that so many of us have probably experienced or maybe worked really hard to avoid when it comes to how we show up, how we serve, how we run our businesses. And I want to have a very direct conversation today. I'm a little fired up. I had my team and I did an amazing training this morning that has got me lit up right now. So let's talk more about what is really underneath the burnout and why doing less isn't necessarily the thing to solve it. Are you ready? Because it's time. I know for me, I have multiple times in my business reached a point of burnout. And a lot of times when it comes to this topic, we think that, okay, if I just cut back my client load, maybe if I cut back the hours that I'm working, maybe if I shift my rates and charge more, that's going to solve my burnout. And I'm here to tell you it's not. And I'm actually going to share a little secret with you in terms of my work. I love what I do. I freaking love my work. I love this. I love what I have created with the Body Mind Method. I love what we do with our coaches on a daily basis. I love the process that we hold people to. I fucking love what I do. I love going live. Love this. I love doing events. I freaking love my work. And the challenge when it comes to burnout and when we think that if we just do less, there are underlying things that are happening that are actually at the root cause of burnout. And the biggest one is responsibility. If we are going to start talking about shifting burnout culture, we have got to have a conversation on what responsibility looks like in your business. Because I think what actually causes burnout is taking responsibility for your clients' outcomes. And as heart-centered entrepreneurs, as somebody who cares about what you do and you love your work and you want to show up for your clients, chances are you are unintentionally carrying the burden of their outcomes on your shoulders. And so when you think about making more money, there's a subconscious belief that it means you're going to be carrying more responsibility. When you think about, now here's the other thing, how much identity do you get within the responsibility that you carry? If you sit here and just think, I'll do less and that's going to solve my burnout, and I'm going to raise my rates to offset that, and you don't do the undoing of carrying the responsibility, in a strange way, the burnout almost feels bigger. Because now you feel like you have to carry a bigger burden for the people that you work with. Now, one of the things that in my personal work and the things that I show up and do for myself is thinking about how to shift my relationship with responsibility. And one of the ways that I do that is responsibility to me is not about carrying the weight of the outcomes. It's about being in a place where I can be response able. Now, this is something that I probably could sit here for the next hour and talk about this, because what I have found, and something that has been stirring me for the past, for a while now, is the realization that when I get on here into the interwebs, into social media, and let me know if any of this resonates with you, how many of you, if you really look at your burnout, if you really look at the exhaustion, it's not because of how much you're doing, it's because of the emotional, mental, physical responsibility that you are carrying. right? Now, I know that we all have very real situations and circumstances in our lives. I've got a family. I am the sole income provider for our family. I know that that is a very real thing. Okay. But when you look at there's so much inner wiring that is so subconscious that we have equated our value to the results that we help people get, that we are responsible for carrying. So who are we to receive abundantly for our gifts if we don't carry that responsibility? There's a deep undoing that has to happen here. And one of the things that gets me fired up is that I see online, there's typically training programs to learn how to do a certain thing, right? Learn how to be a coach, learn a new modality, learn a new way to practice. Like, I'm thinking about my experience going to massage school. And a lot of times, what is unintentionally taught in how we show up and serve and support our clients. Heck, if you're a copywriter, if you're maybe a health coach, or maybe you're a nutritionist, or whatever it is that you do, I want you to look at, in the modality of how you are taught to do the thing you do, how has that responsibility crept into that? Right? Especially for women identifying, the more heart-centered, healers, feelers. Y'all, this shit runs deep. This is in our physiology, what I am talking about here. This is something that has probably been programmed in you from a very early age, that if you don't carry the responsibility of somebody else's success or failures, you've let them down, right? So it is entrenched in how we are taught to work. And so we sit here, we step into these careers that teach us that we have to carry this, and then we think to ourselves, great, if I just learn to market differently, if I just learn the business side of things, if I can just figure out this thing over here and how I sell and how I market and how I do the business side of things, the burnout's going to go away. But then we step into a lot of business things that just bypass that are just like, all the money, less work, but we haven't gotten to the core issue of what is actually going to shift the burnout. And so, yes, you can go learn the business things and then you're making more money, but if you haven't addressed that, you're back to where you started. I have a theory, because I have a coach training. that's a element of the body mind method. That's one of our components of that. Is, I'm going to say this out loud, I think a lot of what we see as coaching isn't coaching. Because this responsibility little thing, what has happened is that the client comes in, the client has a challenge, a problem. They want somebody to tell them the answer. The coach gives them the answer, gives them the advice. The client says, great, I don't have to do the hard shit of feeling, of knowing myself. And what happens is we're just perpetuating the same cycle. I think a lot of what we see as coaching is not coaching. It's giving advice. It's fixing. Let me just share an example as a massage therapist. How easy it was for me to tell my clients to drink more water, or to do their stretches. To tell my clients, here's 5 ways that you can start to sleep better. And by me telling them what to do, trying to fix their problem, I robbed them of the opportunity to tune in and ask their body what their body needed. This shit runs so deep. And what's happening is it is feeding into how we show up and serve our clients, how we run our businesses. And even if you are doing the dance where you learn the business thing and then you go to the modality and you're like living in that world, you never can escape the one thing. And that's burnout. So again, I'm fired up about this. I'm curious what is resonating for you. And here's what I'm excited about, because what I want to do is I want to talk more about this. And I'm what you call a quick start. I get excited about stuff. This has been in my heart, around my space for a while now, looking at what it means to be an embodied entrepreneur. To be somebody who is so deeply connected within themselves and is able to expand and grow and live out that mission, that calling in a way that feels good. Yes, your business is here to make an impact. Yes, your business is here to make money. But if it doesn't make you feel good at the end of the day, if you are constantly swirling in that exhaustion of burnout, which has been amplified by a global pandemic. I feel that, y'all. I feel it. This is not something that I am above. This is something that I feel and I navigate for myself too. But I know that we have to have a conversation around how we show up in the client-facing side of how we work. And we have to have a conversation on how we show up within the business side of things, because I can tell you, I am not going to sit here and contort myself into an algorithm that tells me I have to do 15-second reels in order for me to connect with people. I call bullshit on that, okay? We have to start having a deeper conversation. Because the longer we swirl with putting Band-Aids on something that has been impacting us long before the internet ever existed, it's got to start here. We got to start talking about what it means to be an embodied entrepreneur and what it means to look like with how we serve our clients, with how we structure our services, with how we share and market and invite people in to work with us. We have to start having a deeper conversation. So here's what I'm doing. And I made this decision today. I'm going to be doing a private training on March 11th. And this is going to be invite only. So if you're interested at all in joining me, we'll send you a private link for this. Either DM me or I put our contact information down there, thenewbodymind.com/contact. You can DM directly with my amazing team. Yeah, I'm doing a training on March 11th all about embodied entrepreneurship and what that actually gets to look like as we move forward in this post-pandemic era, what we get to create and cultivate and curate within our businesses, and how we actually can finally break free of this pattern that has been impacting us for so long. So anyway, I got more to share on this. If you want to join me, please just send me a DM. Love to have you. And we just want to make sure that this is aligned for you and is a good support. And I'm sure I'll be sharing more about it, but I am so fired up about this and I can't wait for you to all be with me there. So shoot me a message and connect with my team. We'll talk soon. Bye, everybody.